Is there something that can make a woman feel sexually attracted to you every time? Yes, there is. And to help you understand how it works, I'll first point out that there's a big difference between male and female attraction. For a single man, for example, he can look at a woman and instantly say yes, that he would have sex with her, or no, I wouldn't have sex with her. It's just an instant yes or no. And the woman doesn't really need to do anything else other than look the way that she does, and it's just a yes or a no. And from that, a lot of confusion and insecurity and even depression is caused for men when they notice that they look at women in that way, but women don't seem to look at them in that way. Right? He can look at a woman and instantly look at her butt or her boobs or her waistline or her face or just her overall appearance and instantly be sexually attracted and instantly be saying yes in his mind, but she just walks on by. She doesn't even turn around to look at him the way that he's looking at her. Right? If he's walking along and he turns around to have a look, he notices that she just walks on by. And what do most guys think at that point? Well, it means that I'm not good looking enough. I have to become better looking. I've got to go to the gym and build lots of muscle. But what guys often find is that when they go and build a lot of muscle in the gym, which takes a lot of work and a lot of time, they end up getting more looks from women. But women continue to just walk on by. They don't come over and say, hey, how are you? What's your name? What's your number? Can I take you out sometime? So he's still at the same point, and that can lead a lot of guys to feel that they're not good looking enough and feel insecure. But the guy simply doesn't understand that a woman's attraction works differently to a man's attraction. For example, one of the biggest differences between the male and female brain is that the male brain has a sexual pursuit area that is 2.5 times larger than the sexual pursuit area in a woman's brain. And what that means is that we men are designed, we are wired to be the ones who pursue sex. So men are typically the ones who tend to check women out. They tend to check out the goods, and it's part of the male wiring. It's something that's very different about men compared to women. And if you don't know that, you'll be confused about how women react to you when you're single or in a relationship, because men can instantly say yes to sex, but in almost all cases, a woman needs to check first. What does she need to check? She needs to check whether or not the guy is emotionally attractive, because that is what is most important to women. It's been proven time and time again. Essentially, yes, women definitely can feel attracted to a handsome man, and they can definitely feel physically attracted to men. Absolutely, no problem about that at all. But it has been proven time and time again that women place more importance on a man's emotional attractiveness. So, for example, is a guy able to be assertive with her, or is he a passive sort of guy when interacting with her, and therefore he's afraid to take the lead or afraid of upsetting her? So, for example, an assertive guy will confidently ask a woman something. He won't be afraid to assert himself and direct the conversation where he wants to take it. Whereas a passive guy will usually just want to follow along with whatever the woman is talking about. He will be worried about talking about things she may not like. So he will just want to follow her lead in the conversation or interaction. Women aren't attracted to that type of passive behavior from men because it can signal a lack of confidence and make him appear less capable of taking charge and being decisive, which are traits that women find sexually attractive and sexually arousing in a man. Now, something important to point out here about the difference between male and female attraction is that most men don't care if a woman is passive or assertive. They'll still have sex with her, right? It doesn't matter if she's just waiting for him to make a move, or if she's trying to make a move. Who cares? Yes, she looks good, so I'll have sex with her. That's it. Yet that said, most men actually prefer women who are passive and just go along with whatever the man wants, right? But it doesn't work the other way around, all right? Most women prefer a man who has the confidence, masculinity, and balls to actually be assertive, but he also has the social intelligence and tact to do it respectfully, right? So the guy's not just being an asshole and telling her to do things that she doesn't want to do and forcing her to do something. It's not about that. Instead, he is simply being assertive and being the one who's actually making something happen, but he still shows the woman respect and treats her well. Women are attracted to that. They want that. They're checking for that. They want to see if the guy actually can be a man around her, or if he's going to be passive like a woman. So it's important to understand that, generally speaking, women care more about emotional attractiveness than men when it comes to sex. And it's just the way that it is, right? A man will have sex with a woman, whether she's passive or assertive, it doesn't matter. But women want to have sex with a man who has emotionally attractive traits, such as assertiveness. Of course, that's not the only attractive trait that you can display. You can display so many traits that are emotionally attractive to women. So what do you need to do to make a woman feel sexually attracted to you and want you sexually? Thankfully, it's very simple. You just have to display emotionally attractive traits and then shoot your shot. That's it. You don't have to do anything more complicated than that. This is one of the main reasons why you'll see guys with women and wonder, hang on a second, what's she doing with him? Some guys may think, hey, I look better than him, or that guy's not even tall. Why isn't she with a tall, handsome model sort of guy? Why is she gone for a short guy? Why does that woman find a guy who's overweight sexually attractive? How can that be possible? How about the guy who's skinny? Look at his arms. Don't you have to have big muscles to make women feel attracted? That's the only way that they can feel sexually attracted, right? You gotta have huge muscles. That's the only way to do it. No. Women definitely can feel attracted to a man who has muscles. Women definitely feel attracted to a man who is tall. Absolutely. However, most women place more importance on a man's emotional attractiveness to her. And in some cases, the guy that she is with isn't even that confident. Yet he displayed another trait that is emotionally attractive to women, and that is determination. He was determined to talk to her. He was determined to keep the interaction going. He was determined to ask her out or move in for a kiss. And it's not a case of him doing it in a needy way or a desperate way where he's desperately chasing her. Instead, he's just determined. He likes that girl and he wants to make something happen. Women are attracted to men who know what they want and aren't afraid to go and get it. So whether you're single or in a relationship, if you can display some emotionally attractive traits such as confidence, humor, flirting, social intelligence, emotional masculinity, anything like that, she is going to feel sexually attracted to you and want you. That's how you get a woman to have that instant yes in her mind in terms of your sexual attractiveness to her and her desire to have sex with you, right? If you're interacting with her and you're emotionally attractive, then she's going to be feeling that instant yes in her mind. But if you're interacting with her and you're emotionally unattractive, she's going to be having an instant and an ongoing no in her mind, because emotional attractiveness is more important to women. It's just how it works. So what's an example of how you can make a woman feel sexually attracted to you? What's an example of what you could say or do? Right, so let's say, for example, you're talking to a woman at a bar and you ask her, so have you gotten up to anything interesting lately? And she then starts telling you what she's been up to. What can you do at that point to make her feel sexually attracted to you? When most guys are interacting with a woman that they find attractive and ask a question like that, they'll end up being neutral or very nice as she talks about it. So if she starts talking about the fact that she's been going to the gym lately and eating healthily, a guy who's being neutral will just try to get along with her. And he'll say, oh yeah, that's great. You've been going to the gym and, yeah, I go to the gym as well and I try to eat healthy. Or what sort of foods have you been eating? And how often do you go to the gym? And he's just trying to get along with her and connect with her. And hopefully if they have enough in common, then she's going to like him. She's going to be thinking, oh wow, he likes going to the gym as well. He likes to eat healthily. You know what? We can be boyfriend and girlfriend. Let's start this thing, right? So he's hoping that having things in common is going to cause sexual attraction, but that's a completely different thing altogether. So a guy who is too nice when she's saying that she's been going to the gym lately and she's been eating healthily will likely give her a lot of compliments about it and essentially put her on a bit of a pedestal and suck up to her to hopefully be liked by her. He might say something like, oh wow, that's really impressive. You must be so disciplined. It's not easy to stick to a healthy routine like that. You're amazing for being so dedicated. I wish I had your motivation. And he's trying to show her that he cares and that he's a nice guy, he's a good guy. And hopefully she likes him now because of how good he is and how caring he seems and what a great outlook on life he has, right? You know what? Let's have sex. Whereas a guy who understands how to make women feel sexually attracted will use what I call playfully challenging humor. And playfully challenging humor is just one of the many emotionally attractive traits that I discovered, which resulted in me going from having no women interested in me and attracted to me to being able to instantly attract women whenever I wanted to. Once I figured out how to make women feel emotionally attracted to me, the floodgates opened, and I then used that newfound power to enjoy my choice of women for over 10 years. It still amazes me to this day how easy it is to make women feel an instant yes for you and want you sexually, if you know how to make them feel emotionally attracted. It's such an amazing power to have as a man, and I really enjoyed it while I was single, and I now continue to enjoy it after settling down with my perfect girl, who I've been with for nearly 12 years now. So, how do you use playfully challenging humor? If you ask a woman a simple question such as, "So, have you been up to anything interesting lately?" and she then starts telling you that she's been going to the gym and she's been eating healthy food. All right, so you ask her, "So, have you been up to anything interesting lately?" And when she starts telling you, you smile and cut her off and say this: "Wait, I said interesting." Or, "Oh, hang on, I asked if you've been up to anything interesting." Or, "Oh, yeah, no, keep going. Very interesting." Or, "Hang on a second, I asked if you've been up to anything interesting. Going to the gym, eating healthy food? So what you're telling me is that you're a boring girl." Or, "Wow, that sounds really interesting." Or, "Hang on a second, hang on. I asked if you've been up to anything interesting." And at that point, she's playfully challenged. She's feeling shocked in a playful way in the moment. Her jaw might drop and she'll say, "What?" or laugh and so forth. And then you can say, "Just kidding. That sounds really interesting. Keep going." And at that point, what you've shown her in terms of your emotional attractiveness is that you're not a nice guy who's sucking up to her and being on your best behavior to hopefully get a chance with her. You also have the courage to be able to say and do something like that in a moment. You're not living in fear of being rejected by a woman and, potentially putting a foot wrong. Like, if I say the wrong thing, she's not going to like me. And then my whole world's going to come crashing down. You're not one of those guys who are essentially hoping that everything goes well with the woman. And if it doesn't, then, damn it, I'm a loser. Women reject me. They don't like me. I've got to try to be as nice as possible, say everything as nicely as possible to avoid her potentially not liking anything. I just got to be on my best behavior all the time. If a woman senses that a guy feels like he needs to be on his best behavior around her and he's worried about putting a foot wrong, her instincts tell her that he's already assuming that this is going to go badly. He's already assuming that he's not good enough for me, and so on, right? He's already expecting a bad outcome. But a guy who's truly confident and has what I call emotional independence isn't reliant on the woman to hopefully make him feel good in the moment. Hopefully, approve of me and like me, and then I'll be able to feel good. Right? He already feels good about himself. He's already confident. And he doesn't need her to give him anything in order to feel good about himself. So he actually has the freedom to be able to say to her, "Wait, I said interesting." Just kidding. That sounds really interesting. Keep going. And she then realizes that he's most likely not going to be a needy, emotionally dependent guy. He's most likely going to be able to take care of his own emotional state and be confident and happy in the moment, regardless of what she's saying or doing. He has that emotional independence, and therefore he's much more attractive compared to a man who seems like he needs a woman to be reassuring him, showing that he's doing everything right and that she doesn't disapprove of him, and then he's going to feel okay. Because if a woman gets into a relationship with a man like that, it will often mean that deep down he is quite insecure, and that will usually lead to him becoming jealous, overprotective, and needy in the relationship, which isn't going to be fun for her. Yet the thing is, when we men are interacting with a woman, we don't need to see that she's emotionally independent, she's confident, and she's going to be able to stand up for herself in interactions, right? She's not going to be someone that is going to be walked all over, because we need to be protected by a woman, right? We need to be behind a really strong woman, a brave woman, and so forth. We obviously aren't looking for that. That's not part of how our attraction works. But women do want to be with a man who they feel is stronger than them emotionally and seems to have the emotional intelligence to be able to handle her in a relationship, to be able to interact with her and be in the one-up position in terms of dominance or emotional strength, rather than being in the one-down position in terms of emotional strength or dominance, where she is then dominating him. Women feel sexually attracted when a man can actually be more emotionally strong than her and doesn't put himself in the one-down position in terms of dominance. And playfully challenging humor is just one way that you can instantly demonstrate to a woman that, hey, I don't actually see myself in the one-down position. I'm not afraid of you, but at the same time, I'm not being a prick, right? You're not saying something to her like, "Well, I said interesting. That's not interesting that you're going to the gym and eating healthily." I mean, anyone can do that. That's a guy who seriously lacks social and emotional intelligence. But a man who can say that playfully is showing the woman that, hey, I can playfully mess with you, but at the same time, I can still be respectful and loving and have a good time with you. Right? I can be in that one-up position without actually demeaning you and trying to hurt you. I can do it in a playful and loving way. And women are desperately looking for that because when they interact with most guys are just neutral. Most guys assume that if they have things in common with a woman, right? She goes to the gym, I go to the gym, she likes to eat healthily, I like to eat healthily, then she's going to like me because of that. Alternatively, other guys think, well, if I'm just nice enough, then she'll like me because I've heard women say that guys are pricks. All they want is sex. They're all assholes. So I'll show her how nice I am. I'll be extra nice. And then she'll give me a chance. But while women do appreciate a good man and they want a good man, they aren't sexually turned on by a guy being really nice to them and trying to suck up to them. And another trait that women find emotionally attractive and that really turns women on sexually is when a man can flirt. So if you've been interacting with that woman and you've asked her, so have you been up to anything interesting lately? And she says that she's been eating healthily and going to the gym. To flirt with her, you can say something like this. So I'll assume that you've been making healthy food yourself, is that right? And she then says yes. Cool, well, maybe on our second date you can make me some healthy food. But on our first date, we're definitely going to go get a burger. And with that, the guy is then flirting about the idea of going on a date with her and flirting about the idea of her making food for him, which makes her feel more feminine and girly in comparison to his masculine approach where he's telling her to do something for him, right? He's putting himself in that masculine position of, make food for me. But he's not saying it in a disrespectful or rude way or demanding way. He's throwing it out there in a flirtatious way, but as a result, the woman gets to feel emotionally feminine around him. She gets to feel girly around him and experience that polarity between their energies where he's being more masculine and she's then allowed to be the feminine one rather than just saying to her, oh, you've been eating healthily. Oh, that's really cool. What sort of foods you been eating? Oh, right. And, what made you get into eating healthy food? And just having a neutral conversation with her, just being nice, trying to be friendly and get along with her and so forth. That's great if you want to just get along with a woman and have a neutral, platonic, non-sexual interaction. But if you want a woman to feel sexually attracted to you, you need to be able to display the traits that actually cause a woman to feel sexually attracted and aroused. For example, a guy could say the same sort of line about a woman cooking for him and going out for a burger, but say it in a way that is emotionally unattractive and is not going to cause the woman to feel sexually attracted. So if he says it in an apologetic way, where he feels ashamed and guilty for suggesting that they go on a date or suggesting that she might cook something for him, then she's not going to feel attracted to that because she's going to sense his fear and weakness. Right, so if he says something like, oh, you've been eating healthy food, well, maybe you could cook me something healthy on a second date and maybe for our first date we could go for a burger. She's going to sense and see and feel the fear all over him and it's not going to turn her on. Women are not turned on by fear in men, they're turned on by our confidence. So while what you say is important, what's even more important is what emotional state you're in when you're saying it. Right, so if you're in an emotional state where you're being masculine and flirting with her, then she's going to feel sexually attracted to that because attraction is an automatic reaction to attractive traits. It's just like how we men automatically feel attracted to a woman's cleavage. We don't have to think about it and wonder whether or not we should feel attracted. It's just an instant reaction. The attraction just switches on. Now, we men obviously don't have cleavage to attract women. Instead, what's most attractive about us to women are our emotional traits. Women are more interested in what's happening on the inside for you when you're interacting with her and other people and how that then comes out on the outside in terms of your behavior and reactions to things. That's what really matters to women. Sexual attraction does work differently for men and women. And before I help you further in this video, I'll point out that if you want to learn 124 traits that make women feel sexually and romantically attracted to you, then I recommend that you head over to masterattraction.com. At Master Attraction, I will teach you 2 new traits every month, and you'll learn examples of what to say and do to display the traits. And as a result of continually learning every month and getting increasingly better results every month with women, you will experience what psychologists refer to as psychological momentum. Psychological momentum is something that causes you to get results that are not ordinarily possible if you just do something once and then give up, or just learn a little bit and then forget about it. Essentially, the way that psychological momentum works in terms of you making women feel sexually attracted to you is that when you know how to display a trait that makes a woman feel sexually attracted to you and you do it, you see that women feel more sexually attracted to you than they have before. And that causes you to feel more confident about yourself. And then when you display an additional trait on top of that that makes women feel sexually attracted, they feel even more attracted. You notice that and you feel even more confident about yourself and your attractiveness to women. And that just continues. So what happens is that you become increasingly confident and increasingly attractive to women every month. And if you want to experience that and become irresistible to women because you're able to display so many attractive traits, then I recommend that you join Master Attraction and begin learning. If you join Master Attraction, you'll also get instant access to the Master Attraction community where you can make new friends with fellow members, you can find a wingman, you can ask for advice from fellow members, you can give advice to help a fellow member, and so forth. Essentially, with the Master Attraction community, you'll never be alone with this area of your life ever again. So one final point that I want to make for you in this video to help you is that you can have the same appearance and give a woman a completely different experience depending on what traits you display. Right, so as you would have noticed when I was displaying the traits in the examples, I have the exact same appearance, but I can go from being a confident man, which women find attractive, to being an insecure man, which women find unattractive, with the exact same appearance. And what's really cool about how a woman's attraction works is that you don't have to be perfect in order to do it. And if that wasn't true, then you wouldn't see guys who don't look like anything special with pretty girlfriends or attractive girlfriends or nice-looking girlfriends. It wouldn't be possible. A man would have to be really good-looking and perfect and be successful in life in order to get himself a girlfriend. But the reality is that approximately 99% of men out there are not rich. And when you see a guy who has a pretty girlfriend or a pretty wife, it doesn't mean that he's rich. It just means that he was able to make her feel attracted and then shoot his shot. And the way that it works is very simple. It's not rocket science. You simply need to display some attractive traits and shoot your shot. And with some of the women that you meet, you only really need to display a couple of attractive traits and then shoot your shot. And she'll happily go along with it. She'll happily get into a relationship with you and so forth, but not with all women. Some women do require a much stronger attraction experience. They do want a guy who can display more attractive traits. So for example, if a guy is confident and he also knows how to use what I call playfully challenging humor, he'll be able to attract and get results with many women. But he'll also come across women who are a little bit more challenging. And they will test his emotional intelligence by being a bit difficult during the conversation to see if he can handle himself. And so he might interact with one woman and be confident and say something playfully challenging, and she will be laughing, she'll be loving him, and he'll be able to use that then to continue the interaction, move things forward and get a result. But then he'll interact with another woman who laughs at his joke, but then starts showing that she's not that interested, to test how he is then going to react. And if he starts becoming insecure in that moment and doubting himself, she then knows that, okay, he's not confident enough for a woman like her. He's not strong enough. He's not emotionally intelligent enough to be able to handle that moment, that challenge, and therefore she's not attracted because she's quite a confident woman and she needs a guy who's more confident than her. So with a woman like her, a man does need stronger confidence, and he also needs the emotional intelligence to be able to handle the tests that women put men through. So whether you're single or in a relationship, I want you to understand that just because women aren't reacting to you in the way that you react to them, it doesn't mean that you're not good looking enough and that you need to become better looking in order for a woman to then start reacting like a man, right? And focusing on body parts, focusing on the physical and being primarily turned on by that. It's important to understand that you can look exactly the way you are right now. And when you begin displaying attractive traits, a woman will have the automatic reaction of attraction. And that applies when you're single and in a relationship. If you know how to display attractive traits, women feel sexually attracted to you. It's as simple as that.